design. Welcome to Throwback Thursday. Today we're going to do the second installment of our year-long project using Graphic 45's Time to Flourish re-release in the Deluxe Collector's Edition papers to make little desk calendars for every month of 2022. And we're going to start by cutting 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I have a true confession. With Christmas and the holidays and the weird supply chain issues, I'm completely out of red cardstock. So for the one we're making together, I'm using this beautiful burgundy, which actually works really well. And then I have a very, very soft pink and a very, very light cream to go with all of that. So you're going to have 2 pieces that are 8.5 by 6. And we're just going to join these together. You can use 1/4-inch score tape, or you can use liquid adhesive as I am. Whatever adhesive you use needs to be a good, strong adhesive. I don't recommend that you use just your standard tape runner. But if that's what you want to do, you certainly can, because you get to do you. So we're going to overlap these pieces. Make sure we're straight. Then just burnish them down. Spread that glue out and to help everything adhere. So put this on your scoring tool. You're going to score at 3 and at 6 and 6 1/4. Then you're going to fold and you're going to score again at 6 and at 8.5. And you're going to have a little piece left over. Cut that off, okay? So now fold on the 3, and you can see this is going to form your base. Then this flips up and this becomes a pocket. And we're just going to add a little gusset. So take that little piece that you cut off, lay it in there, and make a mark. Bring in your cutting tool, and you're going to cut let's make it 2 1/4. I just did that kind of help me measure so I don't make these too long. And then let's trim these to 1 inch wide. Score these in half. Fold them to make a little hinge or a gusset. Burnish them down real good. Place adhesive. And the folded side goes against the edge of that pocket, lined up right against it. And place adhesive on the top flap. And close. And that's a quick and easy way to make a pocket. All right. And then of course you've got a 1/4-inch spine here. So that's going to accommodate the extra things that we put in that pocket so that it closes nicely. So this is what your base is going to look like at this point. Now we're going to make the little bottom pocket. And to do this, you want to cut a 6 1/4 by 6 3/4 inch panel of cream cardstock, and then score 1/2 inch on the top, bottom, and side. I'm just going to show you very quickly how to make these little pockets. I just like to come in and cut from the vertical up to the horizontal and swing out. This just makes it so that our flaps will fold neatly and we don't have a ton of extra bulk. Then flip this over. And I burnished mine, but I can see I need to burnish again. Okay. Place a little adhesive in each corner. Okay. And then put adhesive on the flaps. Bring in your easel card base, flip it over, and we're going to adhere this right in the center. Our open pocket, looking at it from this direction, is on the right. And our folded side is on the left. I'm just going to lay this flat because I'm having a hard time getting it straight. There we go. And then just burnish that down. And we don't have to cover this with designer paper. It is never seen. So since we use just about every single scrap of this paper, I decided that we don't want to do that. So here's our pocket on the right, and then the fold is on the left. All right, once you turn it right side up. Okay, then to make your cover, because I want to make sure we get our big pieces out first, cut another 6x6 piece of your base cardstock, and then a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 of the cream, and then a 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 of the soft pink, and then a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, I want to make sure I'm telling you right, of the floral print. Yes, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 of the floral print from the 12 by 12. And I cut this measuring up 5 1/2 inches from the bottom, and then I cut straight across, so I got this little postage stamp in the corner. And we're going to go ahead and just build our cover before we move on and do everything else. You can also at this point go ahead and completely cut up the 12 by 12 page into all these little pieces because we will use them all. And you can see how I've kept this strip together as one, and then this tag, the February ledger page, and the stamps. So just, I'll go through it again so you can see. So the stamps, the ledger page, the tag, these 3 images left as one strip, the February, I don't know, title, I guess you would call this little strip here, these little buttons, hugs and kisses, the 4 by 4 image, and the border. So go ahead and get those all cut up, and then go ahead and get this done. And we're going to go ahead and put some foam tape on the back of these images so that we have some dimension. You can use tabs if you have tabs. I just happen to have a bunch of this tape, so I'm using this, but tabs are fine too. And we're going to come up here so that the point of this touches the top of that pink, because we want to be able to see, we want to be able to see our little angel peeking through. So like this, and then bring in the February This is from the 8x8, and I'm added both of these on our burgundy cardstock. I'm just going to put a little piece of foam tape down here so that it will level. And let me just check and see if I need any anywhere else. Up here in this corner. All right. That should be just about, maybe just, oh no, that's real good. Okay, so adhesive along here. And line this up where you want it to be. Looks pretty good. Okay, so just like that. And then we're going to back this with a scrap. So we're going to wait on this for just a little bit, but we'll come back and finish this. So set this aside. Let's go ahead and finish up this little folio. So we've cut our piece of 11 by 5.5 paper and scored it in half at 5.5. And this makes a top fold. From the 12 by 12, you want the 2 Hugs and Kisses tickets. And we're going to take these, we're going to put a little adhesive right here, sort of in the center. And we're going to line one of these up here, like this. Then we're going to flip this over. And we're gonna, oops, I can see I'm crooked a little bit. Put adhesive on the back. And put this one here, and this is our little pull tab. All right. Okay, so lift this up. I'm doing this a little bit differently than the last one. I think I like this better. This is our cream cardstock, and we cut this to, I want to say 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. Hold on one second, I'll tell you. And we're going to put this down. Yeah, it's 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 because we barely have a margin. So you could actually probably take this to 5 1/4 and be just fine. Then on the bottom, I have this piece, which is it's just a hair over 5 1/8 by a little over 4. Right around 4, 4 1/4, something like that is good. And we're going to put this on the bottom. All right, like this. Only straight. There we go. And then I cut this piece from, this was another scrap. This is just 6 1/8 by 2 1/4, and I scored 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and then I measured with my pencil to see where I needed this pocket to meet, and then I scored it there. So not very scientific, but you get a good, neat pocket that way. Because if you go a 1/2 inch on each side, your pocket is not quite wide enough. You have about a little 1/16 of an inch gap, and that bugged me. So this is going to go down here to cover up where we're short. Only nobody knows that's what you're doing. It looks like a deliberate design choice. Okay, and then on the top from the 8 by 8, I cut an 8 by, I believe this is 5 1/4. Yes. And then I scored this at 5 1/4. And that's our little flap. This goes on this piece. Okay. And then glues onto the top. So we have a flap page on the top, and we have a pocket page on the bottom, and then these 3 little images from the 12 by 12, just score between them and fold, and you're going to adhere the floral pattern on the back, line it up on your flap, and then come back with a little paper clip and clip that on there. And then to put in the pocket, I don't know, we've got a few odds and ends in here, but you could always cut a couple of photo mats. That's perfect. So there's those. And my little paper clip is in here. I'll go ahead and get that put on there. Like that. And I am not going to put any paper on the back because we are going to be tight here, y'all. This is going to snug right in there. Look how cute that is. So there's that one. Okay, so this is 5 3/4 by 5 and 5 1/2 by probably 4 3/4. And this is going to line our pocket. Center this, the top and sides. Straight is always good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Then in the pocket, we have our little 4 by 4. Then find your February ledger piece and your postage stamps. I'm going to flip this like this so that the February is on the top. Then we're going to take these postage stamps and we want to center them because this is too tall to fit in the pocket. So that's why we're going through all of this. And we're going to put adhesive and we want to center this just about 1/8 of an inch. Press it down. Trim off the excess. Keep these. Bring in a ruler. Come just about 1/8 of an inch above the stamps and fold. And then turn it like this. Uh-oh, I put them on upside down. Don't do that. I should have folded it first. Okay. No harm, no foul. We can fix this. All right. No one will ever know. You know, the real secret in life is not to panic. It doesn't matter if you're cooking, if you're driving, if you're crafting. Don't panic. As long as you don't panic, you'll probably be just fine. Okay, so now we're going to line these 2 upper panels. And I've cut 2 pieces that are 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. And this is our cream. And then a piece of the pink that is 5.5 by 2.5. And then a piece of our text paper. It is, I believe, 5.25 by 2.25. Five and a quarter by 2.25. It's not quite 2.25. These were scraps, so I just made them work. And this goes here. And then we've got our little For You birdies. And we can put these here like this. Bring in our postage stamps. If you have these stamp scissors, they're pretty fun for cutting out postage stamps. But if you don't, it's fine. So just kind of arrange those like a little grouping. And I was just able to tuck this one underneath my For You, which worked out really well. And then do the same with your layers on the bottom. Now, find your little trio of buttons and center them over this decorator panel and fold and put adhesive on the little flap on the back. That's cute. Line this up. Glue it down. And then take your little tag and stick it in there. How cute is that? That's adorable. Okay, so on the bottom, for our pocket, I did a 5 7/8 by 2 7/8 panel of the pink, and then a almost 5 3/4. It's like a hair under 5 3/4 and a hair under 2 1/4. And this is going to go down here on our pocket. Just like this. Just line this up. Straight is always good. Okay. And then find your chipboard tag. Just pull a double piece of ribbon through it and leave these little tails, and then add some little flowers. And when we put this down, I want you to put a double layer of foam on the top. but only a single layer of foam on the bottom. And we'll wait until we get the rest of the cover finished before we finish that actually. Here we go. This is where we're at this point. Now, we're going to bring in our heart. And this is the little image from the 8x8. And we're going to trim around this. Very carefully. And you may end up with an itty tiny gap, but it's really not noticeable. All right. Now put your adhesive on the back of your chip. Okay. And then bring this in and just line it up. Okay, so there's that. So this is a border strip from the 12x12, and I'm using the back side. I put double-sided tape, I put foam tape on the back, and then I trimmed out the little roses are red from the 12x12. And we want to put this in the center. That looks pretty good. Fold your flap, put your adhesive on the bottom half because you don't want to put adhesive on the top half. Oops. All right. With this laying flat, go ahead and bring in your border piece that goes along the bottom, just like that. Now come in with your heart, and I'm going to want some foam tape along the top. Let's put just a little adhesive right here. I like it like that. That looks really good. And now I painted my key white. I looped my ribbon through it. Then I tied a little bow. And what we're going to do is the glue is actually what holds this key in place, because let's see, just like that. Just pressing and holding that, but see, that will actually hold that key in place once that glue sets up, because these metal do not do well. I'll put just a little adhesive right there and hold it for a moment. Between those two things, this key will be secure. Then if you want to vintage it up a little bit, you can just lightly tap it with your tea dye ink. That gives it a really great little vintage finish. This is just a key I had in my stash. So now we stand this up, and now we can figure out placement. And I'm actually thinking, because I like this little angel showing right here, although, well, okay, it's going to have to be like this. So take your tape off, and you're going to press this down, and of course it will sit higher at the top than at the bottom, but that is part of our brake mechanism. And then take these little postage stamps. These are from the 8x8. And just kind of round them against your hand. Put 2 layers of foam tape right in the center. And I was going to go over my angel, but let's wait on this and let's put our flowers and ribbons and things on and see where we're at. So in this corner, I've got a bow. I'm going to pull the legs back. Let me bring in my flowers. And I'm using 2 of these apple blossoms and 1 magnolia. I'm going to put my adhesive on my knot, and I'm going to put this right here. All right. I'm going to put adhesive on the top, and I put my magnolia going this direction. Now going this direction. And then we're going to squish up these little apple blossoms and tuck them in like this. And I'm just adjusting that bow and making it go the way I want it to go. Okay, that looks good there. Then I've got this bow. I'm just going to go right up here like this. My magnolia is going to go just like that. The cherry blossom here. That was hot. Cherry blossom. Oops. Right here. Nice. And then I'm going to close this just for a second. I've got this bow. And I want this. I'm going to need more glue. This goes right here, like that. And there's our magnolia. There we go. Sometimes you have to take the point of your scissor and just push that knot into the base of the flower to really secure it. And I need just one more little cherry blossom. So one here. And one here. So pretty. All right. That's kind of pretty. So let's take this off here. Let's tuck this, the elevated one, under our flower. Then we come in with our adhesive and we kind of glue our flaps down and push them toward the center. Perfect. There we go. All finished. All right, guys. There you go. Time to flourish. February papers. Now, if you want to, you can cover up this little back piece. I don't really see the need to do that. And you might have enough to go in and paper piece the back of that folio, but it's a pretty tight fit. So I think I would leave it just as it is. And that way it'll pull in and out easily. But there you go. That is how you put the February one together, and the base will be the same absolutely every time. So I may not do another base tutorial. I may just refer you back to this one when we come to March, which I will do toward the end of February. But I hope you enjoyed this Throwback Thursday. This is Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and I'm going to go get my craft on. Bye.